Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning to your boy, Pfunk Thinking Right, at my YouTube classroom where I do what I do for you. Today, Wrightism 25 Rules to Live By, storytelling, story with a message in the story. Not today. Got something good for you. We're going to go over a lesson I'm trying to get involved with. New format here, change up a little bit. I'm going to give you straight lessons and right thoughts. Okay, today we're going to do being a teacher, what it takes to be a teacher. Okay, let's talk about that. See if I can get you to understand what I think it is to be a teacher. That's what I do. All right, let's start. A true teacher is someone who lives their teachings that they teach. I live my right thoughts philosophy. You can too. With the daily practice, you will be able to breathe life into the scriptures and myths and get others to understand it with you. I modernize the language for you, okay, for today's understanding, so you can get the point across. Yes, I modernize it, okay? Ted Turner can do it, so can I. All right, that's the whole point. Talking to you in a language that you don't understand is a waste of time. I tell people all the time, if you're talking to somebody and you're talking over their head, it's a waste of time. So I don't need to be talking over your head. I want to bring it right down to you, okay, so we can understand it. All right, here you go. Yes, with scripture, the spiritual knowledge is the fire of knowledge that burns away the ignorance and delusions, which is really the main cause of all human suffering and miseries in our day-to-day life. I call them fetters. When you cause yourself problems, hurt, harm, and danger, bring it to yourself, that's a fetter, self-inflicted problems. You can avoid them by learning how to live right, do right, and be right. That's my point. I eliminated the fetters out of my life. Why? Because I took care of them self-inflicted problems that I was doing for myself. It takes practice. It takes a little regiment. Trust me. That's how we can do it. Take it right away. Trust me. Day-to-day practice, understanding how to be and what you should be doing, living the right way. Got some cachet to it. Watch this. Check it out. Now, for me, I can't speak for others, but I think not believing, I think that there is no nobler occupation than teaching. That's just me. That's my opinion. Our nursery school teachers, preschool, at that age, from preschool to like third or fourth grade, those people are life shapers. They're gonna shape the lives of them kids. Psychologically, yeah. And metaphorically, any way you look at it, if they do the right job, their kids will be ready to mature, grow, and be the best they can be. It starts at that age. Yeah. So I personally like to get my people to understand. Let's teach them young. I ain't got a problem with that. Working with the young is very important. Okay. Here you go. Being a spiritual instructor of right thoughts philosophy, because to me, again, there is no greater endeavor in life than being able to relieve the burdens of those who suffer from the pain and mental suffering brought on by their own ignorance of their own spiritual self. If you don't know who you are, the Egyptians left the know thyself creed, because if you don't know who you are, and I've been saying this time and time again, find out who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, somebody gonna tell you. It might not be good. You should tell people who you are. People shouldn't be telling you who you are. I digress. Moving on. Here we go. Got a few pages to go through, so I'm trying to read this and talk to you as I go. Make this lesson understood. Teaching is a fine art if it's done right. That's what I'm telling you. Also, there is no greater force to stop mental anguish of the world's problems like right thoughts philosophy. Okay. Spiritual knowledge is getting to know God, having knowledge of self. I gotta digress. Okay. Why? Because it gets to the roots of psychological problems in the way that most modern Western psychology don't. Let me tell you why. Okay. They'll listen to you, they'll lay you down and listen to your problem, they analyze you and read you. But a lot of them don't have good lives themselves. So how you gonna advise me on how to live and be when you ain't doing it yourself? That's why my technique, my style, what I do, I live it. That's how I know it works. I prove to you every day, if you do this, you can get that. Simple. Okay, here you go. Now, we know that the psychological understanding from the Western civilization, where we are now, modernized and a whole lot of stuff that don't go on. But check this out. As all as in all authentic teachers, not these wannabes and fly by nights because they got the idea and the concept, and all of a sudden it fizzled out. Okay, authentic teachers of right thoughts philosophy. Ain't but one. You looking at them. I say we have a problem in society. It's the lack of interest in obtaining spiritual knowledge or even learning scriptures. And another problem I see is there's a small amount of authentic teachers of spiritual knowledge. We got preachers, they do the Bible school. And a lot of times the preachers don't do the Bible school. They get somebody who, less important to do that. Why? Because they ain't take it serious. If you're the preacher, you should be calling the Bible study. Why? And you should be in charge of whoever's doing it. Why? So you want to know what they're learning. You want to know what they're giving. Okay? And if you're the boss, that's what you should be doing. But I'm not a preacher. I don't run a church, so I don't know about their job responsibility. I'm just saying if you in control, that should be one of the things that you control. That's all. Just my concept again. Here we go. To those who are seriously interested in learning, a lot of people don't find spiritual knowledge attractive because they feel they would lose out on certain things in life if they became seriously involved with the time it takes to process to become a spiritual master or a self master of self spiritually. Obtaining spiritual knowledge to the level where you reach that nihas. That's what every right thinker's goal should be. Why? Because that nihas means you have reached the pinnacle of spiritual knowledge and you can do whatever else you want to do with your life. Unless you got to spend your whole life. No. I did that just to make sure. But once you get the concept, once you practice on a routine basis, on a daily basis, and you get good at it, it becomes a way of life. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All right? Watch this. Then you have those that see obtaining spiritual knowledge as being too complicated for them to understand or actually get the concept. If you telling me, I hear people say that's that Egyptian stuff. No, it's spiritual knowledge. It was Egyptian yoga, then it was spiritual enlightenment. Now I'm giving you spiritual knowledge, so you got to follow because this is movement. It's a process, and the more you learn, the more you get, and the better you are as an individual. When you can say, "I know me," you have obtained mastery. And that comes with the nihas, that spiritual awakening that only you as an individual can get for yourself. You can't get my spiritual awakening. I can't share my spiritual awakening with you. All I can do is elaborate on it, expound on it, and try to give you lessons on how to get it for yourself. But you have to put in the work. Trust me. That's the beauty part. Anything that's worth working for is worth having. That's all. And everybody has an excuse or reason why they don't. That's okay. I'm not trying to run around here and tell anybody you need to be a right thinker. No, I'm just going to adhere to those who want to be a right thinker. That's by choice. I do the right thing because I choose to. Nobody's twisting my arm. Nobody's making me. No, I'm a grown man. I choose to do this. Okay, understand that. Let's move on. Almost all ignorant people won't understand that without spiritual knowledge, all your attempts for experiencing joys or reaching the goals of life are doomed to fail. Why? You don't have God, the spirit that's everywhere and all different things. If that's not in your plan gonna fail. He tells you, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. That means if you don't have me with you, not good for you. Okay? So this is what I'm trying to explain to you. because of your ignorance of spiritual knowledge, you don't realize that you already was born with all you need in your life to be truly happy, but you continue to search outside of yourself for happiness. Peace, contentment, joy, happiness, all that comes from within. You can't manufacture it with stuff, things, by acquiring a big house, getting a pretty nice wife, and you can't take none of that with you. But when you obtain that level of spiritual enlightenment, when you have your Nihas moment, you are covering yourself for the afterlife conceptually. Why? Because you doing the things that you need to do to wake the spirit in you up and recognize it's ready to go back home. When this body ceases its spirit, going back to the maker. No more reincarnations, no more another life. No. When you wake it up, it's happy. And it will do all it needs to do to try to make you happy. That's the inner peace. That's the inner joy that you find when you become spiritually awakened. I hope you're getting this, because I'm putting it down for you. I'm hoping you're understanding this. All right? Here we go. Now, the cause of most of the problems arise from insufficient, from the intensification of your ego body identification. Your problem is you think everything's about you. You think everything is, no, that's the ego. That's the identification problem that you have with self. You think you are you. I think I'm God. Which one of us is right? When you just see yourself as an individual body with a spirit that when it died, that's it, you're wrong. Listen to Mr. Wright. I got you.